This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's tax season, and we're all a bit tired of numbers. But here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it. Guaranteed. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
That it is. Anthony Cumia Show on a fine Sunday evening. And, oh boy, let me tell you. I've known this guy for many, many years. Just a great comic. Used to come on the Opie and Anthony Show all the time. And people liked a couple of us Italians just waxing fantastic about the good old days and the crap that's going on in our country and the world right now. He has his own show, which I'm sure he'll tell you about better than I ever could. Mr. Nick Di Paolo. Nick, how are you, my friend?
Very good, Anthony. Very good. First of all, I want to give a shout-out to WABC Radio for having the gonads, the testicles, the fortitude to put Anthony Cumia on the air where he belongs.
Isn't that crazy?
Somebody over there has good taste, and like I said, huge brass ones.
Isn't that insane? Yeah, after everything that's happened, it's like, all right, I'll come back to the broadcast airwaves. I like the idea of the FCC breathing down my neck. It wasn't enough to have every podcaster and woke jack off or anything else trying to get me fired or killed. Yeah, let me get the government back on me again like it was back in the early 2000s.
You got to hand it to whoever that I've never met. Maybe I know the guy because I did do a stint with WABC Radio. I think I did. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like you. I've been fired and whatever. But I would like to know the guy that pulled the trigger on the show. And I say he should, run for governor in New York, replace that sloppy bitch. Oh,
my God. Governor, mayor, anyone in New York, senators, congresspeople. Nick, you abandoned New York just like I did. Yeah. And we had friends and family up there. And it's, it's tough to just move because you get used to where you are. You kind of fall into a habit. It got so bad that we left. And it has to be because so many people there keep voting for the same imbeciles. And they'll get rid of one and think, well, now it's going to get better, and vote in virtually the same person. And we've seen this happen so many times with Mayor Adams, Governor Cuomo, and then you got Hochul and the collection, Chuck Schumer, the whole collection of them just seem to be dedicated to screwing that state up.
Well, I have a theory about that, and not just New York, a lot of big blue cities that are going in the toilet.
Big blue cities. They needed the money. Oh,
that would be great, Dice, talking about the farm bill on the Senate floor or something. That would be.
Why aren't you paying these farmers? They're out there picking corn or something. Give them some money. Oh.
Like the attorney generals. I know in some states the attorney generals are elected, some they're appointed. But my point is, even like New York City, I really believe those people aren't voted in. I believe, look, if they could fix the presidential election, which they did, by the way, in 2020, I really believe it's rigged in New York and because even New Yorkers, as liberal as they are, they're not that stupid. I mean, I hope I'm right that they would vote in the same liberal scum that every 8 years destroys this city. I really believe it has to be rigged from the inside. Either that or it's really sad that I just think New York is more credit. I don't think they're that stupid. But like Chicago, let's replace. We're going to get rid of Lori Lightfoot and replace her with somebody 40 feet to the left of her. What the F?
every time you just see these cities like, of course, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, then smaller ones like Baltimore. What about Oakland? Oakland just
all the Amish
elected
cities.
a new mayor, Oakland, because the last mayor was corrupt, stealing money, all kinds. And Oakland's just been a disaster. People are leaving. Businesses are leaving in droves. You can't find one open fast food restaurant. They boarded these things up and left like Martians were attacking. They would not stick. And then they just elected this woman that, like you said, a mile to the left of the last guy that was in there. Nothing will get done. And New York had a chance. Anybody but a Democrat like Adams. Adams, by the way, now is just playing off of the fact that Trump and his Justice Department got him off the hook. So he's got to be a good boy. And then, but Hochul, like you could have had Lee Zeldin, and they just vote in this woman that she's terrible for the state.
She didn't even get voted in.
No.
Nobody voted for her. She got dragged into this. Where were they hiding that wildebeest? You know what I mean? Did you ever hear her before she became?
Never.
I don't know.
No
where they
one
find
hears.
these people.
No one hears of the lieutenant governor. They don't know who it is. And then Cuomo tries to say, hey, I'm Italian, so I'll molest people at weddings. He thought that one would work. They throw him out. He pretty much offed 1,000 elderly in old folks' homes during COVID. And
my God.
And now he wants to run for mayor of New York. But, Hochul gets in there. And then when she went through Cuomo's term, they gave us a chance in New York. You want Lee Zeldin? Here's a Republican. It's something different, maybe. Try it. Boom. They just go for the Democrat every time, and we're screwed. And it got me to leave. I picked up and left.
Yeah, well, I always dreamed of heading south, and my politics always fit down here. I mean, I was being called a redneck in 7th grade, for crying out loud, before I even knew what it was. I just
in New
know
York,
I didn't like liberals. I didn't even know what a liberal was when I was 14, but I knew one when I met one. It was like pornography.
Yeah.
I know it when I see it.
You knew what it was. It just didn't have a name yet. It was just, they're just watching them try to destroy the country. Well, you get someone like Trump in there. Look, he's not perfect. I think we could all agree on that one. Believe me. Exactly. But he seems to be trying to do what's best for the country, not a little group here or this person or this soundbite. And all they're doing is trying to put the brakes on him and not let him do anything. To the point where you look and like I was saying, how do you look and go, can we get rid of the illegals that have been pouring into this country for years now? And then he tries to do it, and he's the bad guy. And the illegals are the heroes.
Right. That's right. So what does that tell you? You made a great point. Trump, America wants what Trump wants and vice versa. But it upsets the left to no end. So what does that tell you? They don't like this country. They hate it. And by Trump showing up on the scene, he has really shined the light. And it transcends politics now. It's not about left, right, liberal, conservative. It's about, sane versus insane. They are hard. It's not hyperbole to call them Marxists. They're hardcore Marxists. And no wonder why they don't agree to anything any Republican said. It used to be, I remember like when even when Tip O'Neill was in office and
with Reagan
and Reagan, they would even back then there was push and shove, but I've never seen anything. I mean, and Trump was right. He could literally save a baby on a subway platform, and they would say he touched her illegally. It's creepy. It's creepy that Van Hollen jerk off. Yeah, go ahead. Go down to El Salvador. Who cares if that guy – who cares if he's a gang member or not? He was here illegally, and we know he beats his wife. Aren't those two things enough? Ugh.
Right. Isn't that enough? But no, he's the hero. Donald Trump's an awful person. They are really insane, too. The politicians, I have to believe they know what they're doing. They're just trying to get their team to win. The Democrats have only had one playbook for years now,
right,
and they're playing the same play over and over again. It's obviously not working, but I can't believe they are as insane as their constituents are.
Well, I always, people always talked about good and evil, and I thought that was a little hyperbolic as far as politics go. Not anymore. This is the first time I really go, oh, there really is. When you're defending doctors who have mutilated kids and getting in between parents and their kids and encouraging people who came over here illegally that rape and do all this stuff, that you're looking out for them instead of the victims. That really is. I'm going, wait a minute. Maybe there really is evil. And I don't think that's I'm not exaggerating to say that. I don't. Yeah. They're really dark. They're like a death cult as far as abortion and all that other crap. I'm not like a far righty, but when I talk about these a-holes, I sound like Billy Graham or whoever. I can't even name one.
Or whoever. But of course, it's not Billy Graham. It's the great Nick Di Paolo. Nick, the great Nick Di Paolo, comedian extraordinaire, on with us. And are you playing it? I'd like to, give you a little opportunity to plug a gig.
Absolutely. This Friday night, I'm sort of I was going to say your neck of the woods. What am I saying? You're down here, right?
I'm down here now. We're all moving down here, Nick.
Well, I'll be in this Friday night coming. I'll be at Cohoes Music Hall, Cohoes, New York. That's April 25th. And then May 15 and 16 at Zany's in Rosemont, Illinois, which is a beautiful – I hate saying the name Zany because the club is really beautiful.
I know. The name is terrible.
I'm 63 years old, cashing a check that says Zany's. It's got a microphone with a top hat on it.
I was just going to ask you about that, man, because, look, I've known you for many years. All the, of all the comics that used to come into the O&A show, you're just a pisser, man. And I just, are you still enjoying your time out on the road?
Tremendously.
Oh, my God.
Dude, I'm like, if they should put me on the news. And I get on the plane. I have I get to first of all, it's beautiful down here because the airport is 19 minutes from me.
Yes.
I get there in a straight shot. Anthony, true story. Last time I flew out of Savannah, I parked the car like in a lot that's kind of a little far away, and it's the same place. And I walk through like two parking garages, through the lobby, up the escalator, TSA, all the way to my gate. Listen to this, with nobody in front of me.
It's
Not
fantastic, right?
This is it.
It's like the 70s. It's like the 70s. They put you on a 707 with a carving station wheeled in front of your seat. It really is.
I couldn't. It's just so I don't have a reason. I have to go to Texas every month because I do this thing with Steven Crowder on Lotto Crowder.
Yeah,
he flies me. So it's first class. It's always the same flight. I actually don't. That's how nice it is down here. Like going to the airport, and I do hate the flying because it's just a microcosm of our society. But
really
not like
is.
when I flew out. It's not like when I flew out of New York. I would get a pit in my stomach knowing I had to go from Westchester County to LaGuardia, not knowing if a truck was going to tip over, if there was construction. I would have a knot in my stomach for 2 weeks, and then I'd get in there, and there's the baby. The minute I get on the plane, there's a baby. I swear to God, they're putting a cigarette out on a baby's foot just to kickstart them. Last time, when I talked to you on the phone the other day, you were on the plane, it sounded like they were torturing babies.
Yeah, there was a baby crying next to me, which, it's what it is, but I don't remember that back years ago. Maybe
Not
I'm just
every
looking
other flight.
Every other flight, yeah. And then even first class, we like to splurge a little, Nick. I'll tell you. I've earned a few bucks in my day. I decide to splurge a little. But first class is now steerage in the old days. First class, back when I was a kid,
I know.
You didn't even walk through the same door. They had you walking behind first class, and you try to look through the curtain, and it was just this magical land of food and drink and laughing. It was like Mad Men. It was like the show Mad Men. They're all up there sipping scotch and feeling up waitresses.
Hand jobs.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Now they've just cut everything down. It sucks. And like you said, it's a microcosm. Could you imagine people behaving on planes years ago like they do now? They wore suits and ties and a goddamn fedora. And the women were in dresses, and the kids, God forbid, they open their yap. Now it's a catastrophe every flight.
This is the part of the show where all your fans are going to be, in the comment section going, not even our fans, just people, two cranky old guys.
Yeah. Well, good. We are two cranky old guys. What am I trying to present myself as 28 years old looking for broads?
Well,
no,
I don't know.
I'm in my 60s. I'm cranky.
Judging your girlfriends, I don't know. You might be kind of pulling off 28.
Well, again, I made a lot of money in my day. So.
Well, I'm not a pauper, but I got this leper in my house that makes me feel. Oh, come on, honey. She knows I'm kidding. Come on, honey. Kitty, truth, honey. Truth. I'm kidding.
Come on.
I'm like Tony Montana in the tub. I was kidding.
I was kidding. Give her a Quaalude. She'll love me tomorrow.
Yeah, no, it's so I picked my spots, Anthony. Like, I couldn't, when I was a young comic, I would do like everybody else, 25, 30 weeks, because, I wasn't married, you're chasing broads and having a good time. And that was flying economy, but I hated it. It wears you down. I heard Jerry Seinfeld on Tom Papa's show saying that.
Yeah.
He started talking about travel, and he's like, oh, that's retired, more comedians. And it really is true. It's the cliche they go, but it's true. They pay us comedians. They don't pay us to tell jokes on stage. They're paying us to stand in line at the airport.
Yeah.
Lost luggage, broken relationships.
Some garbage room that stinks. And yeah.
La Quinta Inn. You go in there with luminol, and it looks like an episode of ID.
It's like a Peter Max poster under a black light.
So, it's Crowder flight. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's so funny because you got like a few stories. I hear Norton and Florentine and Voss, and they'll tell these stories, but there's only a few of them out of the thousands of times they've been out. So you got to imagine, they aren't all this amazing, funny, we got some girls, took them back to the hotel stories. It's mostly just boredom and a crap club and a crap crowd.
Well, I don't want to blow my own horn, but I think if you went back and pictured me in my late 20s, early 30s compared to Norton and Voss, I think I would have had a leg up on the broad situation.
Yeah. It always is
exactly Chippendales there, and I love both those guys to death.
Of course, all even their Norton, stories.
I say Norton. I go, Jimmy, you look better. I think Jimmy he's aging good because I texted him the other day, and he's like, I look like and I go, I said, I think you look better now than you did. And he goes, oh, you're a good friend.
You're a good friend. Yeah, he'll look at that as an insult because he thought he looked better years ago. So he thinks you're lying.
I didn't mean that either. I mean, he's heavier now, but I guess he's not wearing an Ozzy Osbourne T-shirt, and he wears a jacket. And I don't know. I think he looks good.
Yeah, that's great. It's going to be clipped and sent to him. He looks heavier now.
No!
That's the only thing that's going to be clipped and sent to him.
Yeah, but I'm saying it looks good on him.
Yeah.
I thought whatever. He whatever.
Hey, with his lifestyle, we all thought he'd be losing a lot of weight. So what are you going to do?
I was worried about 20 years ago. I thought he did maybe catch a germ.
Catch something.
From a happy ending on 48th Street behind a dumpster.
Put on the bathrobe, some chicken broth, and a poodle next to him and call it a night. You're going to stick around? We got another break. I'd like to talk to you about a few more things going on there, Nick.
Okay, absolutely.
Cool, All right,
I
we'll
mean,
be
it's
right back with the great Mr. Nick Di Paolo after this, The Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back. If you're listening on the amplitude modulation airwaves, then you don't have to worry about this, but download the app. Download the app anyway. It's over there on the App Store, 77 WABC app. And then you could listen. That's how this technology works. We have Nick Di Paolo, comedian, good guy, rational thinker. Some people might argue that point, but Nick Di Paolo is with us.
So, depends how close the Bacardi is.
Nick, I love talking with people about the old New York days at the Comedy Cellar in New York, and because everyone loves bringing up that goddamn table, the table, and it's become this legendary thing. Whenever anyone brings up the old crowd of Colin Quinn and Patrice O'Neill and Greg Giraldo and all these guys, and you obviously, and they think it's still a thing that comics would still sit in a club at a table and talk like you guys did about what's going on in the world. And you guys took busting balls to a level no one could even deal with now. They'd go home and off themselves. What is this? You're out there. You're in the clubs. What does it look like these days?
Well, first of all, I have to take the table was my idea. I don't know if you know that.
I heard that. I've heard that. Yeah.
And this is how it happened. I was living in L.A. and I moved from L.A. and this is how I know I had the eye of the tiger, as they say, as like a younger comedian. I flew home from L.A. like the night I got back. Right. Mm-hmm. I still have my suitcase, suitcase in my hand. Went home for a second, dumped some stuff off, went down to the Comedy Cellar later on, and I get down there, and I had a set. Can you imagine? I actually was on the schedule the night I arrived from LA, which I would never. I would never.
Never.
And people who know me, I wasn't like the fucking. Excuse me, I wasn't the hard.
Ding, ding.
Ding, dang, dong.
There's one.
Anyways, so yeah, I get there, get to the Comedy Cellar, and I'm in the Olive Tree Cafe upstairs, and it's packed, and there's nowhere to sit. And I knew Manny because I was playing the club before I moved to L.A. And I go, Manny, can't you reserve a table for the comedians? I don't want to stand amongst the people that are going to come downstairs and heckle me or,
Yeah.
And Manny was such a great guy. I thought that would just bounce off him, right? I come in the next night, there's a table, with a bunch of 3 signs on it that say reserved for comedians. And in the first few weeks, Manny loved me, And for the first few weeks, customers were still trying to sit that would have to kick them out, They would just ignore the signs and sit at the table and would have to go, because it was my idea. I thought it had to be me who said, "Scram, get up, get you and your fat girlfriend out of here." God bless Manny for doing that, and that's how it started. And then Patrice O'Neill, Giraldo. I'm trying to remember some guys that are alive.
Norton, Voss,
Jimmy
Bob
Norton,
Kelly,
and Bob Kelly and Voss and Colin. And yes, we would have at it. And the way, and some nights it got ugly, like Patrice and Giraldo got into it one night. I think Giraldo was a little tipsy, if you could say. He had a few in him. And that Colombian came out and he had a few drinks in him. Yelling. Patrice wasn't even at the table yet. Patrice was leaving and Giraldo said something. And they start yelling at each other. And this is in a packed restaurant with
right.
and families. And Patrice is effing this and that, and Giraldo, all this racial crap.
you know what it's like too. It's just like when you watch a Scorsese mob movie and people go, "Wow, we're just busting balls. It's all right. We're just busting balls." Whenever anyone says that, someone's gonna die. It's never just busting balls. Someone is gonna take it way too far. But that's what made it so funny, man.
You're right, and some people did die, but it wasn't because of violence.
Well, no,
it was other issues.
Yeah.
But,
hey, Nick, could I cut you off real quick, and could you stick around for one more segment because we've got a pretty
Anthony,
tight show here, my friend. All right. We'll be right back, of course, with the great Nick Di Paolo. I appreciate the time, Nick, because you're awesome, man. Right after these quick words on the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Nick Di Paolo with us. Remember the old days? I remember the old days. Oh, jeez. Man, back on the... Yeah.
I was listening. AC/DC, is that what they playing on the station?
Well, no, that's just for us to hear.
Oh, I knew it.
Yeah.
I thought WABC made a real 180.
That would be a hell of a change right there. They just started playing AC/DC. You see they're on there. I guess their final tour. Is that it? Because I saw some clips, and it's like, look, some bands can just go on and on forever. AC/DC's known for just being pretty hardcore, and it just it was
a whole lot of Rosie was my wedding song. We lost 3 sets of grandparents trying to dance to that. It's so funny that you were playing AC/DC because I have a guitar here. And I was just learning chords today, like a 15-year-old.
Are you trying that? You get to a certain point in life, and you decide to pick up a guitar.
Yeah, I'm hoping to make this circuit at 63.
Yeah.
I got a great name. It's the band is Osteoporosis, and it's a new album called Bone Cancer.
We're throwing out free hurricanes to the first 100 people that show up at the door.
It's a good way to keep your mind sharp. It really, it's fun, But I get so frustrated. I'll think I'm, getting a few licks down, and then I'll go on YouTube and I'll see a 10-year-old Asian girl playing Clapton better than Clapton can play Clapton. And
I don't know.
I smash my guitar in the alley behind my house.
Dude, I don't know what's real anymore and what is just because we have cameras. Everyone can record stuff and they put it up there. 30 years ago, was some 9-year-old playing Van Halen riffs?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. Either something really changed or we were unbelievably incompetent back then. Because I picked up a keyboard at one point in my life. I thought I was going to be able to tickle the ivories and play Piano Man and have girls swoon over me. Needless to say, that didn't pan out.
The Casio didn't work for you.
No, it was a little Casio keyboard, and I'm trying to sing us a song. You're the piano man. And I'm thinking, I'm in. You should have picked up the guitar at 13 because by 15, you are king. I saw my brother do it. It pissed me off to no end. He would show up at a party. I'm sitting there trying to, do my jokes, my little jokes. And Joe starts playing songs, and girls would, believe me, we all know this, Nick. Musician beats comedian anytime at a party. Anytime.
One of my best bits was about that. Remember the show Behind the Music? And I'm not going to remember the date. You guys are going to have to Google it. But they had that show Behind the Music on MTV.
Yep.
So you never saw that.
Bands
you never saw Behind the Laughs, did you? Behind the comedy.
No.
Right? Me bringing back some girl with a club foot. She was like the coat. She worked in the coat room at the Funny Bone.
Right.
In Grand Rapids. She had a hair lip. you know, they're talking about. I remember on that VH1. I don't know if it was the Stones. Somebody said, "I woke up and there was a needle hanging out of my arm." it was like Nicky Six or somebody. So I put that on my act. A comedian would say that. I woke up, there was a needle hanging on me. Apparently, I rolled over on the sewing kit at the La Quinta Inn. I had about 8 analogies. If I don't know where that bit is. If somebody can find that, your fans can look it up. It was one of my favorite bits, and it would still work today because you're right. The AI stuff, here's what kills me, Anthony. Like you said, you don't know it's real or not. The animal stuff, I'm in a bar looking up watching Jive TV or Clyde, whatever it is. And right. It's the animal stuff that makes me crazy. There's a clip of a deer running in front of a car. The guy stops the car, right? The guy gets out. The deer leads him into the woods to another deer that was wounded. And I go, that never happened. I look at a stranger next to me. I go, that never happened. So I try to write a bit on that, too. I go, some of them are believable. Somebody picks up a bird that was hurt, whatever. I go, but, yesterday I saw one. It was a great white shark helping an old lady across the street. I go, that's it.
that's got to be AI, right? Right? It looks real, though. I don't know. It's You know what? You know what it is also with like going to those parties years ago, and like I said, my brother would be there, or a musician. Anyone can accidentally be funny. Like you could have a guy at a party, and he might say something, and it's funny, and people look at him and go, "Oh, that's funny." You don't accidentally pick up a guitar and play a Led Zeppelin riff, right? You just you have to be good. You have to have that talent, and girls will gravitate toward that so much faster. I don't care what they say. What's the most important thing? A sense of humor, I think, is mostly. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was funny while I had zits on my face, and and I'd finish up a little premature. Yeah. But
what do you find important? Well, a big dong, and he's got to be able to play the Les Paul. He's got to do 3 songs off the Black Sabbath's first album, and he might get the first. You're right. It's the comedy thing. That's the part. What's tough about stand-up, though, because of what you just said, almost everybody has made their friends laugh at a party.
Right.
But
Anthony,
what that does is make them think that they're comedians.
Yeah.
Between making your friends laugh at a party and going on stage and converting that to strangers, is a whole different ballgame. So everybody has made somebody laugh, which makes everybody an expert on comedy. You're like, he's and you can be very unfunny and get away with it. I mean, a lot of people don't know the difference between a Bill Hicks and I always say Carrot Top, but I like him. I don't want to pick on Carrot Top.
No, he's actually done very well for himself, and he's always gotten good reviews, that son of a bitch.
Tell me about Anthony. You know how depressing it is? I play Vegas, and I'm walking down the hall to my room, and all the do not disturb signs have Carrot Top's ad to him at the MGM Grand.
Yeah, his face.
And I'm playing Tom's Lounge. At the Zebra Hut.
Yeah, people can fake it at a party. One line, your friends are funny. And then I guess it had to be back in the early 80s when that comedy boom happened where everyone thought they were a comic. I think that was part of it. A lot of those open micers started out with, hey, I cracked my family up at around Easter. Everyone's laughing. And they bought it. And there were all these comedy shows that were out. Evening at the Improv and the
Caroline's Comedy Hour.
Yeah, Caroline's Comedy Hour. And they were, for the most part, terrible. You'd get one guy on there that might make you laugh, and then it hit that wall. Finally, thank God. It hit a wall where people are like, we're waiting for the cream to float to the top. And it happened. That's what I've been saying this. That's how I feel about podcasts right now. There are too many podcasters and podcasts because everyone could go to Best Buy and get a podcast play kit and set it up, and now they're a podcaster. but they don't know what the hell to do once they turn the mic on. I think we're in that same thing with podcasting that we were comedy in the 80s.
Well, yeah, and comedy's getting saturated again now, too. But,
God.
I'm glad you brought up podcast. This is how bad I am at marketing myself.
Yeah, come on, Nick.
Even I have a podcast Monday
Nick Di Paolo, everybody. Where can we hear you, Nick?
Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern on Rumble. And if you guys don't know who Rumble is putting YouTube out of business.
Rumble's the naughty version. The naughty version of YouTube.
Yeah. It's I can go wild on Rumble. And
I know.
It's God bless the guy that runs it, Chris Pavlovsky, whatever his name is, but he's he's like the only thing that stands between us and total censorship,
It's so rough these days, man. Like I do my show, my internet show, and it's just there's nothing I can't say because it's subscription based, it's private, but everything else, I put stuff up on YouTube. I got to be real careful. And now this is FCC, Nick Di Paolo. The FCC's watching and listening right now to make sure Anthony Cumia doesn't screw up again.
Yeah, well, if you're listening, leave him alone.
Thank you.
Leave the guy alone. He's making an honest living. The guy used to put up duct work, okay?
I put in air conditioning and heating ducts. For the love of God, I was able to talk and get a few people to listen. Can you just leave me alone? That's all I'm asking. Leave me alone.
The guy's going to have stage 4 lung cancer in about 3 minutes. Let him have his fun.
Breathing in asbestos.
Oh,
you didn't call me, Tony.
I did that
you
stuff
didn't
too.
call me. You did construction. Yeah.
I
We
did
all
that stuff. My uncle would have me up in an attic. This is 1976.
Oh, God.
Yeah, get in there and clean out that. What is it? I don't know. He's like it's some type of chemical dump.
Yeah, make believe it's cotton candy. Eat it. Go ahead. Have fun, kid.
Yeah, put on a Red Sox hat. Don't let it get in your hair.
Knock yourself out. Put a paper towel in front of your face. Knock yourself out, kid.
Hold this rag over your mouth.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
30 years later, you're coughing up blood. Nick, you are a gem. I love having you on. I want to do this more, of course. And we live way too close together to not show up live on each other's show.
Funny. I always think about that. And it bothers me a little bit. Then I go, no, he's just like me. You know what? How far are you from me? 2 hours?
I'll wave. Look out your window. Here I am. I'm waving.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No,
you got the Make America Great Again hat.
I'm not that far, dude.
Yeah.
I'm really not. Probably 2 hours. 2 hours.
No, 2 hours top. But I go. He's just like me. It's not. He don't want to get.
No.
It's like as much as I want to see Anthony. I don't know. We're just
get in a car, drive. What are you, crazy? I got to go outside. I got to open my door. I got to dress.
Dude, I shower once every 11 days now. I swear to God.
I think I got you beat.
You know how girls are doing this thing called fabbing? I don't know if you've read this.
I don't know. Look at you keeping tabs on all the teen magazines.
Yeah. Oh God, yes. I have a middle school up the street. No.
What is fabbing?
They touch themselves down there, the girls, and then they put it behind their ears.
Are you kidding me? Like perfume?
Yes. So apparently, I tried it, and ass sweat doesn't work as good.
No.
I put some ass sweat on my wrist.
Not quite Fabergé.
He goes, the funniest part is he said, you put it on your wrist. And how girls put perfume on their wrist.
Like maybe in the 40s they did, which is even funnier. But Nick, I love you, bro. Well, let's,
anytime, dude. I know how it is when you first get back.
Yeah.
You got a no show and you scrambling or whatever. But tell the people this Friday night to come see me at the Cohoes Music Hall, and then May 15th and 16th at Zanies in Rosemont, Illinois. And listen to my podcast. It's only 40 minutes. It's rough and tumble. I say what I want, and that's on Rumble at the Nick Di Paolo Show, 5 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Thursday. So,
Di Paolo.
Yeah, baby.
I love it, Nick. Thanks so much for coming on, man.
For bringing Anthony back.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for noticing that. Some people, they still keep their mouths shut. They never talk to me again. These bastards. Nick, thanks so much, man. I'll see you soon. Hopefully, I'll drive the 15 minutes to your house. All right.
Yeah, let's meet at the Waffle House halfway in between.
Yeah, let's do that. The great Nick Di Paolo. We'll be right back after these words.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
There are black beans, and then there are Goya black beans. Whole, plump, delicious, and loved by all kinds of chefs. The professional chefs at Chef's Best love them so much, they awarded our beans their Excellence Award. At Home Chefs love them so much, they awarded our beans the internationally acclaimed Goya black beans. Whole, plump, and oh so delicious. Find them in the Goya section of your local grocery store. If it's Goya, it has to be good.